First at 6, there are changes in the Atlantic while you were sleeping. Take a look at your screen right now. You're looking at an area that could become the first named storm of the season. 2 weeks before hurricane season officially starts. As you wake up, NBC2 is tracking the tropics. Thanks for counting on us. I'm Clay Miller.
And I'm Lisa Spooner. So First Alert meteorologist Jason Denning is in our NBC2 First Alert Hurricane Tracking Center right now. And Jason, this just shows how important it is to be prepared because a lot has changed in just the last 24 hours.
Yeah, be prepared, stay updated. Of course, this is not a storm that we have to worry about, but just to show you how quickly things can change just in a matter of the last several hours. If you're watching this time yesterday, the system had a 20% chance to develop over the next 5 days. And as we continue to do some more analysis on this, we're watching this non-tropical low. And if you watch carefully, you can see right there, the little spin, it's attached to a cold front down to the south, and sometimes those can trigger tropical systems and help them develop. And this could actually end up being what's called a subtropical system, which means it gets some energy from the water, like a tropical system does, and some energy from the jet stream, like an area of low pressure does, or those cold fronts. So now, look at this, the odds of development have increased up to 80% over the next 5 days and 50% in the next 2 days. And we have now our first set of spaghetti plots. It may have been a while since you've seen this, and probably not something you want to see. Of course, after 2020, we got to see a lot of these. But this just gives us the overall idea of where this is going to track. So here's the island of Bermuda. Of course, we're far away here over the eastern seaboard. This is going to stay over 1,000 miles away from us. But over the next couple days through Saturday, we could see this curl back to the west and then south, just northeast of Bermuda. But then look what happens beyond that as we get into the weekend and into next week. This gets picked up and deflected by another weather system and recurves harmlessly out at sea. So a non-issue for us, but just a reminder, now's the time to pay attention and just to make sure you're prepared as the hurricane season quickly approaches. Today, be prepared for a windy day, even windier than yesterday. We're going to see wind gusts up to around 30 to 35 miles per hour, sustained between 10 and 20, and temperatures on the way up to the upper 80s to lower 90s. We'll take a closer look at how high the fire threat is for us today in your First Alert forecast at 6:15.
Your time right now, 6:02, and NBC2 is tracking breaking news all over our community. Inmates and deputies injured in a fire at the Lee County Jail Core facility. Look at all the smoke, too, when you saw billowing out of the building at one point. And a stolen dump truck crashes right into a canal, and that killed the accused criminal inside.
Oh, shit.
You just watched the moment the truck crashed there. NBC2's Nicolette Perdomo is live on State Road 29 and Farm Worker Way in Immokalee, where the scene is still pretty active, Nicolette.
Good morning, Clay. Yeah, still Collier County deputies and tow trucks remain this morning here on State Road 29 and Farm Worker Way. I want to show you right here. Now, this trailer has been towed away just moments ago. That trailer was attached to the dump truck. Now, the dump truck was towed away last night, we believe, but this is what remains this morning, this barricade that the tow truck just plowed through. Now, you can see right over there, that is the trailer that was on top of that dump truck. Now, it all started in Hendry County. One witness telling us the dump truck was going more than 50 miles per hour down the road, swerving recklessly. The man racing down the street in Immokalee when the truck crashes into this ditch. Collier County deputies say they also shot at the dump truck. Deputies say the driver of the dump truck was also involved in another crash, causing damage and injuring a driver.
It's very reckless. Going through the village with a lot of kids and a lot of other people walking around.
Again, this is the trailer right here. It's still being towed away right this second. Now, we don't know who the driver was. We do know that he stole that dump truck, but we don't know why Hendry County Sheriff's deputies were chasing him in the first place. I'm in Collier County. Nicolette Perdomo, NBC2.
We're also working to find out how that driver died, by the way. In Lee County, deputies and firefighters were dealing with this. A fire forced inmates out of the jail's core facility. That's on Ortiz Avenue, right off I-75. This is not the downtown location. NBC2's Anissa Bohannon is live right now. So, Anissa, do we know this morning what caused that fire?
Lisa, we do. Officials tell us that it was a minor electrical fire in the HVAC system on the roof here of the building that caused those plumes of smoke to roll off the building just a few hours ago. Let's take a look at that scene from last night. You can see there smoke billowing off of the jail. Multiple law enforcement and emergency vehicles were on the scene after that fire broke out just before 7 o'clock. Family members of those inside described feeling helpless as they waited for news about what was happening inside.
My grandson called me and told me he was passing here and he observed smoke billowing from the buildings at the Core Center. I immediately realized that my other grandson was incarcerated there. It's a frightening experience to know that, you know, being a former law enforcement officer and having worked in a state facility, knowing just how they're locked down there and how they can be helpless if they're trapped in that facility.
Now, while 2 LCSO deputies and 2 inmates were medically evaluated here on the scene, everyone did, luckily, make it out of the building safely. I'm live here in Lake County. Anissa Bohannon, NBC2.
More breaking news right now. Neighbors in Fort Myers tell NBC2 there was a shootout at Lago del Sol Apartments. That's off Gladiolas. Lee County deputies picking up shell casings last night, placing evidence markers on the ground. We also saw a car with bullet holes in the windshield there. We're working now to confirm what happened and if anyone was hurt.
This morning, deputies are on the hunt for a man who dressed in a fake police uniform and robbed a pawn shop in LaBelle. Here's a look at the scene at the Capitol Pawn Store. This is on Hickpatchee Avenue. So deputies say someone wearing a badge and a holster walked in and ordered employees around before tying them up. Sheriff's office has not confirmed what the criminal got away with, but we do know ATF is involved with the investigation. Count on NBC2 to keep you updated as we continue to push for more answers.
6:06 this morning, the Sanibel Captiva Conservation Foundation is asking for reduced Lake Okeechobee releases. They told the Army Corps of Engineers estuaries will be damaged if polluted water keeps coming to our coastline. That water sending algae everywhere. In some spots, it just smells really bad. Smells as bad as it looks, too. Algae is clumping up and decaying at Franklin Lock. Water experts say wind is holding algae back, but it's not helping the smell.
It's moving downstream pretty fast. We don't want to see that. You know, that's what got really bad in 2018, and it's kind of looking that way now.
You can get a whiff of it as the wind turns. A nice day to picnic by the water, but it's not going to happen here because of the algae.
Calusa Waterkeeper took several water samples on Tuesday, and those results are expected back today.
Well, Cape Coral is working to get ahead of the spread. Canals are clear this morning, but the city is working with the state and county to keep it that way and reactivate the bubble curtain at the Mandolin Canal. They're also looking into making more curtains for other canals. The city will do surveys twice a week and republish their website for information and reporting.
A 1-2 punch for our water. Red tide continues to get worse. The newest map from FWC showing medium to severe levels along our coastline. FWC says if you see dead fish in some of these areas, you should not swim in the water.
6:08 right now from your Cape Coral News team. A family is mourning after this little 2-year-old boy drowned in their swimming pool. The parents tell NBC2 Elliot Williams slipped through their pool safety fence and fell into the water. Police say the parents did start CPR before first responders got there. Elliot was rushed to the hospital and he was there for 4 days before he died. We talked to a swim instructor about how to prevent these drownings.
Nobody is drown proof and accidents do happen. So basic CPR is critical to get that started as soon as possible. We're talking 30 to 50 seconds, a minute. I mean, these are precious seconds that they're underwater that can make all the difference.
But little Elliot is a hero this morning. His parents say they decided to donate his organs after he died, and because of that decision, Elliot helped save the lives of 3 other children.
6:09 happening today. President Biden, he is set to sign a bill that will curb hate crimes against Asian Americans. That is the big story that I'm tracking right now in the NBC2 Alert Center. John is now our director. John, good morning to you. Sat 25, if you could punch that up as we look live at the White House. 2 o'clock this afternoon. That's when the president will head to the East Room of the White House to sign this bill. and make some comments about it. Now, the legislation, it would instruct the Justice Department to expedite and review of hate crimes that may be related to COVID-19. Also give local law enforcement some more resources to track this violence. Clay, lawmakers, both chambers of Congress, they called for quick action on this, and today at 2 o'clock, it becomes official.
Stacey, thank you. 6:10, sad coronavirus news this morning. A DeSoto County child dead after contracting COVID-19. Officials are not releasing much information other than the child was under 4 years old. Count on NBC2 to keep you up to date as we learn more information.
Still ahead, exposed on the sand. At 6:24, we'll tell you what one man is accused of doing on Sanibel that made a girl scream.
The house it's gone.
Breaking right now, nothing but ash. You'll hear from a Punta Gorda family that just lost everything in a fire.
Yeah, it is going to be a windy Thursday. That's the big thing you're going to notice today. And also, that's going to help to create a very high fire danger still across Southwest Florida. I'll show you where and when it's going to be the highest. And your first alert forecast is 6:15.
So he came back in, and I didn't hear anything this whole time, and he was dragging me by my feet out of the bed, just yelling, "Get out of the house, get out of the house, it's on fire."
Breaking news right now on NBC2. You just heard from Sheila Jones. Her night started like many of ours. Had dinner, watched some TV, went to bed. But this morning, Sheila is without her Punta Gorda home after it caught fire. I'll let her tell you what happened.
About 10 after 10, my husband heard like a pop. So he went around the outside of the house to see if it was a grass fire or something that he could put out. Well, at that point, he saw that the roof was engulfed.
In an instant, Sheila Jones and her husband lost everything. Their Punta Gorda home of 35 years burnt down overnight.
Our wallets were in there with all our cash, iPads.
Everything except their lives and their phones.
The house it's gone. We got to go get driver's licenses because we don't have it, and we got nothing to show who we are.
Another thing they have, helpful neighbors and a loving family.
They brought us water, something to eat, chairs to sit in, hands to hold, hugs to give.
Sheila and her husband sleeping in a camper overnight, ready to rebuild their lives. And if you're looking to help,
mostly what we need right now are just, hugs and handshakes.
God bless you, man.
Thank you, sir.
There's our photographer, Simon, giving Sheila a much-needed hug. She tells us she's going to meet with the Red Cross today. Investigators will also head back out to determine how this fire started. They say it could have been even worse, though, because those embers sparked a small brush fire nearby.
Yeah, that's the biggest concern on windy days like this. And today, tomorrow is going to be no different from yesterday. And that's why we've issued that NBC2 fire alert, because you can get what's called fire spotting. So you get a fire that starts and some of those embers get lofted up in the air, and the winds can make them travel even about a half a mile to a mile. That can spark a new fire. So that's one of the concerns here on breezy days like this, especially with the ground so dry and the air drying out with that lower humidity. And it's a breezy start to the morning. Feels nice. We got temperatures in the lower 70s to upper 60s, but then watch how the winds behave as we go through the day. So yesterday we saw some wind gusts up to around 30 miles per hour. So what we're tracking now are the sustained winds, and you're going to have to want to hold on to your hats even earlier in the day here. This is 10 o'clock, sustained winds between 15, 19 miles per hour. And then we're going to get up closer to 20 miles per hour at LaBelle and Fort Myers by around 2 to 3 o'clock. So the time frame of concern with the winds and the fire danger is going to be in the middle of the afternoon when the air is drier and the winds are stronger. Winds will subside a little bit as we get into the evening, but it's still going to be a breezy night. And as we break it down county by county, really the two counties we're most concerned with when you just look at the ingredients overall, that's Lee County and Charlotte County. We're in the very high fire danger category. But all of us, except for Hendry County, in the high, at least the high category. But even in Hendry County, there's that risk for a wildfire today because of that breezy weather with the low humidity. But look how pretty it looks out the door this morning. We are coming up on about 20 minutes from sunrise. Sunrise just after 6:30. Got a few clouds out there to help illuminate the sky here during the golden hour. And as we get after sunrise through the 8 o'clock hour, temperatures holding around the middle 70s. And then by 9 o'clock, the winds will start to pick up a bit more as we warm up into the lower 80s. The wind will help to take the edge off the heat a little bit, so we're not going to have that heat index 5 to 10 degrees above the actual temperature. So we're pushing off the summer soup, at least for now, so to speak. 90 in Gateway, Lehigh Acres, Buckingham, and North Fort Myers also up to 90 degrees, but upper 80s from Cape Coral to Fort Myers, upper 80s, Naples, Golden Gate, and in Orange Tree up through Immokalee. You know, a lot of times we're about 5 degrees hotter here compared to the coast. With the wind direction coming in from the east, that will help to keep us a little bit cooler today. 91 Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, and Arcadia, right there flirting with 90 degrees as well. It's going to be breezy pretty much all across Southwest Florida, and that's because we've got a big, strong area of high pressure to the north, which we'll talk about more coming up at 6:42. This evening, we've got some dry air moving in, and that's going to lower temperatures even more. Check it out. There's the big blue H, the high pressure. It's been driving our weather over the last few days. Lower pressure down to the south, so the squeeze plate between the two is creating that strong easterly breeze. It's also going to push that tropical humid air that's already west of us even farther away. So that's going to lower humidity into tonight, into Friday, into Saturday, and that's going to lower our morning temperatures, so it's going to feel pretty refreshing, at least in the evening. So if you have any outdoor plans, taking the kids to soccer practice, maybe having dinner outdoors, it's going to be really nice over the next several nights. Of course, these are the morning lows, but we're even going to be below average, that average being right around 70 degrees. But that breezy weather will continue all the way through Saturday. Not great weather for boating. We've got a small craft advisory posted for our entire coastline. Might want to wait until Sunday to do some boating. Look at those morning lows down in the upper 60s all the way through early Monday. The heat builds into next week. Ahead in your first alert forecast, we're going to focus on the tropics and some changes we've seen while you were sleeping overnight with that little area I've got circled in the Atlantic.
6:19, I have a weather story to follow. Jason, the weather continues to dominate the headlines this morning as you wake up in Houston. I have a pretty cool live look to show you. My feed just changed. Sat3, John, punch that up. And Jason, Clay, Lisa, look at this. Pretty cool to see that fog lingering there in the city. Dense in some spots. Visibility very poor. I was just listening into the live broadcast from the NBC station in Houston. Meteorologists there saying less than a quarter mile of visibility. You may remember Lisa, Clay, yesterday it was the rain and the flooding. Remember those live looks that I showed folks? Today, you can see a different story and the fog, the big headline in Houston, Texas.
Still can't catch a break.
Traffic on NBC2 is sponsored by StormSmart, reducing the impact of storms and energy costs while making a positive impact in our community.
Good Thursday morning. So if you're heading out the door, we are still looking nice, especially if you're traveling down I-75 and US 41 for your commute. Where it's not looking so nice, it's right along Colonial Boulevard as you head on to I-75 if you're heading down southbound or the northbound Rams. So just give yourself a couple of extra minutes this morning. And for those in Lehigh Acres, State Road 82, we're also seeing backup. Speeds right now are coming in at 19 miles per hour. That's your NBC2 traffic alert.
6:20, stay off the roads. Not because of traffic. We'll tell you about the new ordinance in Bonita Springs right now and what happens if you're caught violating it. That's at 6:25.
Their clothing disappeared. No sign on the door, no word, no nothing.
Gone without a trace. In 3 minutes, a search for some missing clothes has a new twist.
I'm wearing one of the shirts. I'm wearing one of the missing shirts.
This morning, the shirts and pants held hostage in East Naples are now released. NBC2 first reported Tuesday a dry cleaner closed down, leaving customers without their clothes. They were locked up inside Eco Cleaners on Pine Ridge Road. One man tells us he got a call from Regal Cleaners saying, "Hey, we got your clothes." They also said they tried reaching out to him, but even with that, still not very happy.
If you close your doors, you let them know what's going on from the very minute you close those doors, and that can be through a sign or through a phone call.
More people even reached out to NBC2 saying they got the same call. They retrieved their clothes from Regal Dry Cleaners.
Well, hopefully they don't put this bottle back on the shelves. Collier County deputies say Aaron Washington tried to steal from a liquor store by putting bottles down his pants, not once, but twice. When deputies got to the Winn-Dixie liquor store on Coronado Parkway, they say Washington tried getting away on a bike.
New this morning, a beach full of people on Sanibel say they saw way too much of this guy. Police tell NBC2 they arrested Daniel Schumann for indecent exposure. Officers say Schumann was watching girls get out of the water at Bailey's Beach Park.
Disgusting.
With his pants down. Yeah, you heard in the background someone say it was disgusting. A girl screamed when she saw him, and that's when Schumann jumped up, got in his white Lexus, and drove off.
I have 8 grandkids, 3 granddaughters and 3 great-granddaughters, and I would be furious, to say the least, if it happened to any of mine. And this grandma would probably attack.
Listen, I don't blame her. Schumann is out of jail this morning.
6:25 as you wake up, Anita Springs is joining Lee County cracking down on panhandling. An ordinance banning pedestrians from standing in medians or crosswalks and interacting with cars is now in effect. It mirrors the same one passed in Lee County last month.
For me, this is a safety issue. This is ensuring that our right-of-ways are safe and really just ensuring that we have consistency within our jurisdiction with the county. You can do this here, you can't do it here. The rule's the rule, and throughout the city of Benita Springs, we're going to be in line with the county.
And if you violate the new rules, the penalty is a fine worth up to $500.
Saving summer from blue-green algae. Coming up, I'll show you where it's getting worse and the push to take action.
And testing site confusion. Are operations at CenturyLink coming to an end? We're getting you answers ahead at 6:35.
More changes in the tropics overnight with this area of interest. I'll show you what's new as we track the tropics ahead at 6:30.
Traffic on NBC2 is sponsored by StormSmart, reducing the impact of storms and energy costs while making a positive impact in our community.
And for those in Collier County, we're seeing delays start to build up, especially along the intersection of Pine Ridge Road and Livingston Road. So if you are heading that way, tap on those brakes. That's your NBC2 traffic alert.
Live, the news you count on. NBC2 News Today.
Coming up on 6:30, and we are tracking the tropics, plus an NBC2 fire alert is in effect, those winds picking up. It is a big weather day in Southwest Florida, and you made the right decision to start yours with NBC2. I'm Lisa Spooner, and First Alert meteorologist Jason Dunning, making sure you're prepared for all of it. So Jason, kind of break down the highlights of what we need to know.
Yeah, so in the tropics, we have seen some changes with the development. And again, we don't expect this to impact us, but as is always the case, we want to keep you updated on what's going on, especially as we get closer to the hurricane season. And as you saw there, we've got that high fire danger in place. We're going to talk more about that coming up in just a little bit, especially with those winds ramping up. And we're going to see some strong winds across the Atlantic, some tropical storm force winds possible, but it's going to be about 1,500 miles away from us. I want to show you a couple things. Number one, this is the area where we have a little bit lower pressure here, but then notice this band of clouds that extends down toward the southern tip of Florida. That's actually a cold front, and sometimes these can help to trigger tropical systems, especially this time of year. So we'll focus in on this. The area we have circled right now, just the non-tropical area of low pressure. You can see the spin right there as we look at the satellite animation. It's sitting just to the east of Bermuda. Here's the change from yesterday. You know, this time yesterday, it had a 20% chance to develop over the next 5 days. That has now been increased to 80%. So what I want to show you is the American forecast model. And this is interesting because the American model, also called the GFS, got a big upgrade about a month ago. They've been testing it here for the last couple of years, and it's improving much better now, especially relative to the European forecast model with these tropical systems. So it'll be interesting to watch through the hurricane season. But what I want to show you here is we look at the tropics futurecast. Here's Friday morning at 6 a.m. Notice how this tightens up. So that just means we're looking at lower pressure, a stronger system. Subtropical storm Ana could form over the next couple of days, but it's going to stay away from us. Watch what happens here as we get toward the weekend. There it is. I'll keep my hand on it so you can kind of keep track of it. And it races off to the northeast as they get pushed offshore by an approaching cold front. So no impact for us. We'll keep you updated, keep tracking it for you, and let you know if there's anything else to watch as we go through the next several weeks and the coming months as we get into the 2021 hurricane season. A high of 89 degrees today. It is going to be windy with a drop in humidity. We've got that high fire danger in place. We're going to talk about how long that's going to last. And when we're going to start to see some rainfall in Southwest Florida. Technically, it's rainy season, but when will it really start? That's ahead in your forecast coming up at 6:42.
Traffic on NBC2 is sponsored by StormSmart, reducing the impact of storms and energy costs while making a positive impact in our community.
So I wish I had good news for your Thursday morning commute, but take a look at your screen. This is a live look right now of Colonial and 6 Mile Cypress, where delays are stacking up. We are seeing delays all the way to Winkler. Now, if you want to avoid this, you can always hop onto Daniels Parkway. We're not seeing any delays there. Now, switching things over to our maps, where if you're in Cape Coral, we're having some slight delays right along Santa Barbara Boulevard, heading southbound, and Midpoint Bridge speeds right now are coming in at 53 miles per hour. That's your NBC2 traffic alert.
Just incredible video. Breaking news in Immokalee. A stolen dump truck in the distance came to a crashing halt in a canal. NBC2 is confirming the driver died. How he died is still under investigation. Take a look at some video again here. We can tell you the truck was left near a Burger King in LaBelle. 5 minutes later, Hendry County deputies say they got a call about a reckless driver. Then there was a chase, and it ended on State Road 29 and Farm Worker Way in Immokalee. NBC2 is at that scene right now, and crews, we understand, just towed that truck away.
More breaking news this morning. 2 inmates and 2 LCSO deputies are recovering after a fire at the Lee County Jail. Fortunately, their injuries are minor. An HVAC system on the roof sparked those flames last night. The smoke could be seen billowing from the core facility. Look at this, for miles. The 1,200-plus bed jail was evacuated, but we know this morning everyone is safe. Crews are still evaluating the damage on Ortiz Avenue. We spoke with a man right after the fire started. His grandson is an inmate.
I feel kind of helpless right now and not knowing, what's going on with him, whether he's safe or, whether he's injured. No, I'm just praying for everybody's safety and well-being and that we'll get some answers soon.
Count on NBC2 to stay on top of this investigation this morning.
A news alert you need to hear this morning. Our algae situation is getting worse. Just look at how bad it is at the Franklin Lock. Gunk is growing and decaying, and it smells even worse than it looks, people say. We spotted algae first in Lake Okeechobee, then at Franklin Lock, the Alva boat ramp, and in the Fort Myers area at the Davis boat ramp. It's spreading. NBC2's Claire Lavazorio is live in the studio to tell you about the fight to find it and, Claire, hopefully kill it.
That's right, Clay. I went to check out the situation over at the Alva boat ramp, popular place for people to jet ski, fish, and the warning signs are there. There is a thin green film floating across the surface of the Caloosahatchee River, and that has people worried that the algae will only get worse. The Colusa Waterkeeper says that film is out for sampling to find out how toxic it is. On Wednesday, the Waterkeeper sent a letter to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection asking the agency to adopt new enforceable water standards for toxins that are found. I have reached out to the DEP for a comment on if that's something they're considering, but have not heard back yet. People living along the river hope this summer is not a repeat of the summer of 2018.
Just about over the past month.
It's turning greener. And I see it coming in on waves, and when it's very still water, you can see it just under the surface everywhere. It's not good. And I'm very concerned, and I'm hoping that someone will do something about it. The Corps of Engineers doesn't seem to want to.
The Colusa Waterkeeper's testing from the Alva boat ramp should come back today. We will bring you those results as soon as we get them on air and online. I'm live in the studio this morning. Claire Lavazorio, NBC2.
6:35 here in the NBC2 Alert Center. I'm covering some breaking news that happened overnight in Queens, New York. There was a shooting. 3 people recovering, including a child. John, if you could show everybody this picture here on Twitter, on social media. This posted here in the last 45 minutes. A father and 8-year-old son among the victims here. Thankfully, they are expected to recover. Police are saying the shooter fired multiple rounds and then took off. It's an ongoing investigation, but the rise in gun violence across the 5 boroughs in recent months has local leaders calling on the mayor there, de Blasio, to do more to address the issue of gang violence and guns. So I'll continue to track breaking news for you right here in the NBC2 Alert Center.
6:36, if you still need to get your COVID-19 shot, listen up. Lee County's vaccination site is moving once again. It's currently in the old Sears store at the Edison Mall in Fort Myers. Vaccinations will continue at the mall through Friday, June 18th, so a little less than a month. The new site will be at the Department of Health office in North Fort Myers off Pondella Road.
You are taking a live look at CenturyLink Sports Complex this morning. Wow, look at that. State testing operations are set to end this weekend, and some of you have told us you have appointments beyond that date. Well, the state partnered with Curative, an independent testing company, to keep this site up and running. We are working to see if Curative will continue testing at the site without the state support.
Please, Walter, she's trapped under the vehicle. I can't get it off. Mommy.
Some of the most incredible video you'll see, a hero in action at 6:41. You'll hear how a deputy saved someone's life with seconds to spare.
And imagine imagine if that was your home. You'll hear from a Cape Coral neighbor forced to take action.
6:40, only on NBC2 this morning, you'll hear from the little girl who escaped a Florida kidnapper. We first showed you this terrifying video out of Escambia County 24 hours ago. You see this man jump out of this car, come over, grab the girl. She fights back. He runs away. But listen to what 11-year-old Alyssa Banal tell NBC's Carrie Sanders about how she helped deputies track him down with one of her toys.
So you knew if you put some of that blue slime on him, that what? That the detectives would identify him?
Yes, it'd be a better evidence. It'd be better evidence.
And you were thinking about all of this while it was going on?
Yes.
She said it'd
You
be
heard better evidence there. You can hear her full story just ahead on the Today Show in 15 minutes.
All right, we've got even more incredible video that you need to see this morning. A Virginia deputy is being called Superman after lifting a car off of a woman whose head was trapped. Watch this.
Lost her, her head's pinned.
Calm down.
Come here, bud.
There's a pillow.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't see the lift, but you can certainly hear it. So the driver flipped her car and her head was pinned by the sunroof. That deputy, all by himself, was able to lift the car just enough to get her out while her child was watching.
They say you get that strength.
Yep,
You know,
and he said it was the child screaming to help her mom, that's what gave him that strength.
Amazing.
Yep. All right, here's your Florida story of the morning. It's a lizard napping. Someone stole 14 tegu lizards from Jesse's Jungle in Charlotte County. NBC2 can confirm those lizards are worth more than $35,000 altogether.
To Gleyber Torres, and that'll do it. A no-hitter for Corey Kluber.
New York Yankees pitcher Corey Kluber celebrating the 6th no-hitter in Major League Baseball this season. Pitchers are on fire right now. Spencer Turnbull with Detroit threw a no-hitter against the Mariners Tuesday night. The current Major League record for no-hitters in a single season is 7, and we're just underway.
Yeah, a Ring doorbell video shows a car whizzing down Southwest 9th Avenue in Cape Coral Monday night. Someone in that car chucked a lit firework out the window towards a garage. It exploded over the grass, leaving behind remnants of a small brush fire. And we spoke to neighbors who took action.
I heard like a firework, and I saw it through the window back there, so I came outside to check it.
Kind of a frantic way, he said, "There's a fire," and I was almost in disbelief at first.
So that man grabbed a bucket and a hose to put out the flames.
That could quickly get out of control on a day like this. This is why we've issued the NBC2 fire alert. It is going to be a very windy day, great for flying a kite, maybe some kite surfing, but as far as the overall fire threat goes, that is very elevated today. And you can see even this morning, when usually the winds start to relax, it's quite breezy as we look past the American flag over Victory Lane Chevrolet Page Field Airport. In the background here on this Thursday morning, a lot of you are asking, why is it so windy? We don't obviously have any tropical systems close by, but we've got this big, what we call a pressure gradient. We've got a strong high pressure here to the north of us, a relatively lower pressure down across the southwestern Gulf of Mexico, and we are sandwiched in between these two pressure systems, and the squeeze play between the two basically accelerates the winds here, and that's why we've got that windy weather here from the east. Something else I want to point out to you too, you'll notice here on the right side of the map, notice a little swirl right here in the Atlantic, and that's an area we're monitoring for possible tropical development. This time yesterday had a 20% chance to develop. Now those odds have increased to 80% over the next 5 days. We know it's not coming here, but there's a chance this could become what's called the subtropical storm Ana as it races back up to the northeast. I'll show you the latest spaghetti plots for that coming up in a few minutes, just before 7 o'clock. But it is quite the beautiful morning. Look at that sunrise right now in progress from Fort Myers, Babcock Ranch, and we've cooled off to the upper 60s. It feels even nicer with that breeze this morning. We got some clouds out there, kind of like yesterday over Naples and Marco Island. So we'll see some clouds mixed in with the sunshine today, but enough sunshine to warm us up close close to 90 degrees. We're sitting in the upper 60s right now, as we saw northward, Charlotte and DeSoto County, 73 Fort Myers, 72 Cape Coral, and we'll look there live from Cape Coral. You can see that cloud deck that's sitting over southern portions of Collier County right now, but also some blue skies looking off towards Shell Point and the mouth of the Caloosahatchee this morning. And as we look at your forecast hour by hour today for Cape Coral, and this is going to be the case all across Lee County, you can see that breeze kicking up with some gusts between 25, 30, even over that as temperatures warm up to 90 degrees. And also humidity is going to drop today too on top of that breeze. Notice as we get into the afternoon, as some of these red shadings creep southward, that indicates humidity getting below 30%. That's in the danger zone as it relates to the fire threat. Lee, Charlotte County, very high fire danger today. Outdoor burning not advised, so just be extra careful. Tracking rain chances. Need some rain here in the rainy season. Not going to see much all the way through early next week. This high that we're talking about is helping to generate the wind, is also pushing the tropical moisture well down to our south and west. So rainfall over the next 7 days pretty much staying away from us. And when we're going to see a better chance of rain, what it looks like as we get closer to Memorial Day weekend. By the second half of next week, even some isolated showers possible next Wednesday, but dry for the time being and staying breezy through Saturday with highs up close to 90. That's your NBC2 First Alert forecast.
6:46. All right, wake up. NBC2 all over breaking news as you start your Thursday. Deputies and inmates are recovering after a fire at the Lee County Jail.
And an accused criminal is dead after stealing and crashing a dump truck in Immokalee. In our final 10 minutes, we'll take you live to both investigations.
And just yelling, get out of the house, get out of the house, it's on fire.
Escaping fire with nothing but their phones, only on NBC2. The small favor a Punta Gorda family is asking you for.
Breaking news before you head out the door. It's 6:49 right now. A Punta Gorda family is waking up without a home after theirs burned down overnight. Crews rushed to fight the flames on Austrian Boulevard just north of Jones Loop Road. I want to show you the damage left behind. That house is a complete loss. We talked to the woman inside who says her husband had to drag her to safety.
We've lost everything. Our wallets were in there with all our cash, iPads, everything except our cell phones. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to rebuild.
Today, that woman says her family is working with the Red Cross, and if you want to help, she says she could really use a hug. The fire marshal is investigating the cause. Could have been a lot worse, though, because embers from the fire also lit a brush fire nearby.
An update to breaking news we brought you 24 hours ago. Firefighters say a 7- and 9-year-old rescued their 3-year-old sibling during this house fire. This happened on Alico Road, just east of Ben Hill Griffin Parkway. That fire started on the front porch. The home is destroyed. The family did lose 2 dogs in it, but everyone got out okay besides that. Investigators are trying to figure out the cause right now.
More breaking news as you wake up. Neighbors in Fort Myers tell NBC2 they were woken up by gunshots overnight. Lee County deputies picked up shell casings and placed evidence markers on the ground at Lago del Sol Apartments. We also saw a car with bullet holes in the windshield. We're working to confirm if anyone was hurt.
NBC2 has everything you need to know as you start your Thursday. The Sanibel Captiva Conservation Foundation is demanding action to save our water. They want releases from Lake Okeechobee to the Caloosahatchee lowered. The organization says estuaries will be damaged if polluted water keeps coming our way.
Now, this is what a lot of people are worried about. That toxic blue-green algae creeping down the Caloosahatchee and into our backyards right now. It is clumping up and decaying at the Franklin Lock as we speak. We've also spotted it as far down the river as Fort Myers. Water experts say how the algae moves all depends on our weather, particularly the wind.
It's moving downstream pretty fast. We don't want to see that. You know, that's what got really bad in 2018, and it's kind of looking that way now.
You can get a whiff of it as the wind turns. A nice day to picnic by the water, but it's not going to happen here because of the algae.
Calusa waterkeepers took several water samples along the river Tuesday. They are expecting results back this morning.
Now, Cape Coral says they have a plan to keep canals clear. The city says it will work with the state and the county to reactivate the bubble curtain at the Mandolin Canal. They'll also be looking into making more curtains for other canals. The city will do surveys twice a week and republish their website for information and reporting.
On top of the algae, red tide already wreaking havoc on our coast. It's getting a little better. Take a look at the newest map from FWC. We've got some medium to severe levels of red tide at our beaches. Up there by Sanibel is where we're seeing less medium concentrations. And a reminder, FWC says if you see dead fish, you should not swim there.
6:52, people had to duck from bullets in Immokalee. They hid behind cars and a dumpster. One of the victims even shot back during the gunfight on South 5th Street Tuesday morning. Deputies say 4 teens in a Jeep shot multiple rounds towards a home right across the street from a school. A 58-year-old grandma was caught in the crossfire.
Knowing that they had got the 4 boys, it was like a little relief for me. So I was able to stay in my home last night, me and my loved ones.
The 4 teens were arrested and taken to jail. They are charged with multiple crimes.
A Collier County high schooler is arrested 2 weeks after deputies say he repeatedly stabbed someone in a park. The victim says he was sitting on a bench with Daniel Jean Denis at Palm Springs Park back on May 7th. 18-year-old is accused of getting up, slamming the victim to the ground, and then stabbing him 6 times in the back. Victim managed to run and get help. After a photo lineup, the victim pointed out the teen who was arrested at Lely High School.
All right, happening right now in the NBC2 Alert Center, some breaking news. My feeds changed moments ago. Make your way to your TV and check this out because it's history in the making. iNet 5, John, punch that up. What you're going to see here in a second, that's the largest vessel to ever visit the U.S. East Coast. It's going to break a record when it docks here in New York and New Jersey. It's a massive ship that's more than 3 football field lengths. Wow. It carries 16,000 containers that are about 20 feet long, Clay. So kind of a cool live look that they just showed us here from this port. It docked in Canada, then it made its way down, but it's going to break a record here when it docks on the East Coast shortly.
Wow.
Get out of the way when that thing's coming. Stacey, thank you. 6:54. Today, people will get their first and second doses of the COVID-19 vaccine at Lee County's vaccination site. It's currently in the old Sears store at the Edison Mall, but it's getting ready to move. Vaccinations will continue there, though, through June 18th. The new site is the Department of Health office in North Fort Myers off Pondella Road.
Traffic on NBC2 is sponsored by StormSmart, reducing the impact of storms and energy costs while making a positive impact in our community.
And if you're traveling down Daniels Parkway heading to Treeline Avenue, closer to 6 Mile Cypress as well, we're seeing backups start to back up all the way down to US 41. Now, US 41 and Metro Parkway, we're also seeing bumper-to-bumper traffic for your commute, so give yourself a couple of extra minutes and just leave your house a little bit earlier this morning. That's your NBC2 Traffic Alert.
Forced out by flames. I want you to take a look at the smoke billowing out of that building. Well, that building is the Lee County Jail Core facility burning on Ortiz Avenue in Fort Myers. We know an air conditioning unit sparked those flames, and NBC2's Anissa Bohannon is live there this morning. So Anissa, what are you able to confirm about any injuries?
Lisa, everyone did manage to make it out of the jail safely. The building looking very calm and quiet this morning, but I do want to take you to what the scene looked like here last night. That smoke you see there pouring off the roof of the building could be seen for miles. Officials tell us a minor electrical fire in the HVAC system on the roof here at the jail caused those plumes of smoke just before 7 o'clock last night. Family members of those who were inside described feeling helpless as they waited for news that their loved ones were okay.
What was going through my mind is that my daughter said, "Mom, call the jailhouse and see what's going on. I just want to know if my brother okay." She said, "Well, let's ride out here and let's go to this jailhouse and see what's going on." We pulled in. The sheriff sitting there, he told us to get out of here. It's all on lockdown. Like all we see is black smoke coming out the air conditioning system.
Inmates were temporarily relocated. 4 people, 2 deputies and 2 inmates were medically evaluated here on scene. But again, everyone managed to get out of the building safely. For now, I'm live here in Lee County. Anissa Bohannon, NBC2.
Yeah, and even more breaking news you need to know about. What a night. A stolen dump truck runs right off the road and into a canal. The driver is dead. And right now, investigators are on State Road 29 and Farm Worker Way right now in Immokalee. NBC2's Nicolette Perdomo is right alongside them. Nicolette, has that scene changed this morning?
Well, we're actually able to get a closer look right now of this damage. You can see right here the barricade just plowed through by that tow truck, gravel just ripped from the ground. And then take a look at all of that debris right there. You can see cinder blocks, drywall all over the floor. Now, this all started in Hendry County. One witness telling us the dump truck was going more than 50 miles per hour down the road, swerving recklessly. The man racing down the street in Immokalee when the truck crashes into this ditch right here. Collier County deputies say they also shot at the dump truck. Deputies say the driver of the dump truck was also involved in another crash, causing damage and injuring a driver.
It's like your whole life flashes before you. It makes you think, oh man, we could be here 1 second and gone the next.
Now, we know the driver died, but we don't know how this happened. Now, they also haven't confirmed who the suspect was or how this started in the first place. All we know is that he did steal that dump truck. But count on NBC2 to be the first to let you know if more information is confirmed. I'm in Collier County. Nicolette Perdomo, NBC2.
6:58, two things I want you to know about here before you head out the door. Number one, the tropics. We've seen changes here overnight, and now it looks like an 80% chance to develop. This little area I'm tracking right here, this could become subtropical storm Ana. Just subtropical means it gets some of its energy from the ocean, like tropical systems, and some of its energy from the jet stream from the atmosphere. Here's the latest spaghetti plots from this, brand new from overnight, and you can see actually it's going to do a couple of loop-de-loops close to Bermuda, likely staying just northeast of there, but it stays well away from us, eventually going out to sea harmlessly and not a threat to Southwest Florida. The other thing I want you to know about, we've got that high fire danger in place today, especially for Lee and Charlotte County. So keep that in mind today. It's going to be very breezy. We'll see some wind gusts up as high as 30 to 35 and humidity also low, but it's going to feel pretty comfortable. Aside from that, with temperatures up near 89 degrees with a mix of sunshine and clouds. That's your NBC2 First Alert forecast. Back to you, Clay, Lisa.
Busy day on the Today Show. Coming up, one of my favorites is going to be on. Pink is talking with Carson Daly.
Yeah, she's really good.
She's awesome.
And also, too, Carrie Sanders will be interviewing that young girl who was escaped an abduction out of Escambia County in Pensacola.
And used slime.
Wait till you hear more about that.
Yeah.